بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على خاتم الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. This is Major 1, Math 101, Term 221. This is the first question. Consider the data in the Venn diagram. How many elements are in the following sets? So set S. You notice that in this diagram we have set S and set F and set D, and this is U, the universal set, everything. So in set S, we have 109. You add 109 plus 97. This is also in set S, plus 24 plus 10. All of these elements are in set S, and the answer would be 240. So there are 240 elements in set S. Set D intersection V, this is intersection, all the elements in D and also in F. So this is D, okay, and this is D, and this is F. Well, in both of them, we need elements in both of them. So this would be, this is the intersection between D and F. So there are 24 plus 73 elements in the intersection, and the total is 97. Set, this is D complement here, okay, D complement. So the element would be in D complement if it is not in D. So everything outside D would be in D complement. So either you add 347 plus 369 plus, or you have the universal set, you have the total number in the universal set. Here I don't have the total number in the universal set, so I will add 347, which is outside all the three sets, and then plus 369, okay, which is here in F alone, plus 97. This is also not in D, plus 109. So the sum of these numbers will give you the total elements outside D. The answer is 922. Set S intersection F intersection D. Well, F intersection S intersection D, this is the intersection of the three elements. And you can see that it is here. This is in S, it is also in F, it is also in D. So there are 24 elements in the intersection of the three sets. A producer sells items for $0.3 each. So this is the selling price of each item. Determine the revenue from selling X items. Will you find the revenue by multiplying the number of items, which is here X, times the price of, or the selling price of each item, which is 0.3. So the revenue would be 0.3 times X, okay, number of items X, times the selling price. The cost for production is, the cost is given, this is the fixed cost, and this is the variable cost. So the cost of producing X items, each item would be $0.15, where X is the number of items sold, Okay. Find the break-even point, item and cost. Well, the break-even point is always the intersection of the revenue and the cost. So we have revenue is 0.3 equals the cost, which is 0.15x plus 105, and we need to solve this equation. To solve this equation, I take x in one side, all the terms with x in one side. So I'll have 0.3 minus 0.15, and 0.3 minus 0.15 is just 0.15. So I'll have 0.15x equals 105. And then to find x, I divide by the coefficient of x, which is 0.15. So 105 over 0.15, and this will give me the answer, which is 700. Now x is what? Number of items. So here I found x, the number of items. I still have to find the cost or the revenue. These two functions are equal. So if you replace x by 700 either in the cost or in the revenue, you should get the same answer. It is easier to replace x in the revenue because it's one term. So 0.3 times 700 will give me 210, and that's the break-even points. You can write it as a point. 700 will be number of items, which is x, and y is the cost or the revenue, which is 210. Write the equation of the profit. Well, we know that the profit equals the revenue minus the cost. The revenue is 0.3x and the cost is 0.15x plus 105. And you need to use parentheses because this minus will change the signs of these two terms. So I'll have 0.3x minus 0.15x, then minus 105. So the revenue, the profit function would be 0.3 minus 0.15 is again 0.15x minus 105. And if he asks about the break-even point, where the break-even items, number of items, when you have the profit, if you put the profit equals to 0, this also will give you the 700, which is the number of items to break even. Question 3, write the equation of the line that passes through the point and parallel to the line. Well, to find the equation of the line, the equation of the line is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, where m is the slope of the line and x1, y1 is a point on the line. So if you know a point on the line and the slope, you can write the equation of the line. So this is the point. So this is x1, y1. And I can find the slope from this fact that our line is parallel to this line. Well, I need the slope of this line. To find the slope of this line, I take 2x to the other side. So I write it in this form. I solve it for y. And once you write it in this form, this is the famous form y equals mx plus b. So the coefficient of x would be the slope. So the slope is 2. The two lines are parallel, so they have the same slope. If he says perpendicular, then I need to use negative 1 over 2. Okay, I take minus the reciprocal of this slope if he says perpendicular. But if he says parallel, then the two lines have the same slope, and the equation would be y minus y1 is 4, the slope is 2, x minus minus 1 or x plus 1. That would be the equation of the line. That's okay. If you want to solve it for y, multiply, it's up to you. Find the market equilibrium, quantity and price, if the supply function is given and the demand function is given. Well, the market equilibrium happens when the supply equals to the demand. So I have P equals, and here also P equals. So if these two equations to be equal, since the left-hand side is P in both, so the right-hand side of the first equation, which is 8Q plus 2, should be equal to the right-hand side of the second equation, which is 320 minus 2Q. We just need to solve this equation for Q, okay? So I will take Q, all the terms that has Q in one side. So negative 2Q, take it to the left-hand side, so it would be positive 2Q. I have already 320 here, plus 2 will come to the right-hand side, so it would be negative 2. So I have 10Q equals 320 minus 2. And that's 318. All right, so Q would be 318 divided by 10, so it's 31.8. This is the quantity. 8Q plus 2. If the numbers are accurate, and you should usually have here an integer, 32 or something. But maybe here the numbers are not well prepared. So 8Q plus 2Q is 10Q, 320 minus 2 is 318. Okay. So what is P? To find P, the price, you can replace Q by 31.8 either in the first equation or in the second equation. So I'll use the first equation. So 8 times 31.8 plus 2 would be 256.4. I'm not satisfied because there are points in the solution. So I will also replace Q in the demand function by 31.8 to make sure my answer is correct. So 320 minus 2 times 31.8 is also 256.4. So my answer is correct, but maybe the numbers here are not well prepared as I mentioned. So the correct answer to this solution is 31.8. That's the Q, which is here independent variable, and P depends on Q. So this is the equilibrium, the market equilibrium. Solve the following inequality. I have two denominators, 2 and 4. If I multiply both sides by 4, I will get rid of all the denominators. So 4 times x minus 1 over 2 plus 4 times 5 over 4 is greater than 4 times 3 times x minus 1. So here I can cancel 4 with 2 and I'll have 2. 4 over 2 is 2. And then multiply 2 times x minus 1. So 2x minus 2 plus 4 cancels with 4 and 1 times 5 is 5 greater than. Now 4 times 3 is 12. I will multiply 12 times x minus 1. So 12 times x is 12x minus 12 times 1 is 12. And then solving this inequality for x, take all x terms to one side. So I have 2x and I'll bring 12x. It would be negative 12x to the left-hand side. And then I have negative 12 already in the right-hand side. And this 5, when it goes, well, here I have 5 minus 2. So negative 2 plus 5 or 5 minus 2 is 3. When I take it to the other side, it would be negative 3. So I have 2x minus 12, this is negative 10x, greater than negative 12 minus 3, that's negative 15. And then I divide by negative 10 to solve the inequality for x. But negative 10 is a negative number, so when I divide by negative 10, I change the direction of the inequality. Negative 15 over negative 10 would be 15 over 10, which is 1.5. To write it in interval notation, this is 1.5, this is x. Okay, to the left, less than is to the left of 1.5, so I'll go to negative infinity. So in interval notation, it is negative infinity to 1.5. That's the answer or the solution of this inequality. Solve the following system. I have two equations. I can use mode 5 1 to check my answer in the calculator, but he needs the steps, of course. So I can use elimination here. I have 2x plus 3y equals 1 and minus x here. So if I multiply the second equation by 2, I'll have negative 2x plus 2y equals negative 6. I'm just multiplying by 2. I'm not changing any signs. So in 2, now we add 2x minus 2x is 0, 3y plus 2y is 5y, and 1 minus 6 is negative 5. So dividing by 5, y is negative 1. And once I have y, I can put it in the second equation or in the first, but the second equation is easier for me. So I have negative x and y is negative 1 equals minus 3. Take minus 1 to the other side, it would be negative 3 plus 1, that's negative 2. Now multiply by minus 1 or divide by minus 1 both sides. So x would be 2. So the answer is 2 and negative 1. This is the solution set of the system. And you can check mode 5.1 that your answer is correct. This is a piecewise function. Find the value of f of negative 6. Well, to find f of any number, okay, I need to know where is this number, because I have 3 definitions here. So negative 6, is it less than 0, between 0, 4, or greater than 4? Of course, if you put the number line, this is 0, this is 4, negative 6 is here. So x is less than 0, so I have the first definition, so I will use the first definition. So 0.5 times, and I replace x by negative 6 plus 4, and just write the answer. Of course, 0.5 times negative 6 is negative 3 plus 4, so the answer is 1. F of 2, again, where is this 2? Is it here or here or here? It's clear that it's between 0 and 4, so I use the definition in the middle. So 4 minus, and I replace x by 2, so the answer is 2. So f of 2 is 2, f of negative 6 is 1. Consider the following function. This is a quadratic function. A here is negative 0.1, B is 80, and C is negative 7,000. He's asking about the range of the function. Well, the graph, we know that the graph of this equation, quadratic equation, is a parabola. Since the coefficient, the leading coefficient, the coefficient of x squared is negative, so this parabola opens downwards. So the range would be, the range is the y values. It would be from negative infinity to k, where this point is h and k, the vertex of the parabola. So I need to determine k, I need to find the vertex. I notice that in part B, he is asking about the vertex. So I know the formula that h in the vertex, this h, the x coordinate of the vertex, is equal to negative b over 2a. So b is 80, so I'll have negative 80 over 2 times negative 0.1, because a is negative 0.1. And when I divide 80 or negative 80 by 2 times negative 0.1, I notice that the answer is 400. So this is H. Now to find K, this is a point on the parabola. So it satisfies the equation of the parabola. So K would be P of H. This means I replace X by 400. So it would be negative 0.1 times 400 square plus 80 times 400 minus 7,000. And this will give you the value of K. Of course, using the calculator to find the answer, you get K, which is 9,000. So the answer of part B, the vertex HK, is 409,000. And once I have K, I can find the range. The range would be from negative infinity to K, which is 9,000. If the coefficient of x squared is positive, you do the same, but the parabola will open upward, and then the range would be from K to infinity. Okay, from K to infinity. So notice if he changes the sign of x squared. Is the vertex a maximum point or a minimum point? Yeah, if the parabola opens downwards, then the vertex is the maximum point, as you can see. So here it's maximum. If the coefficient of x squared is, you can say that a is greater than 0. If the coefficient of x squared, if a is positive, then the vertex would be minimum point. Find the x and y intercepts. Well, to find the x intercepts, I put y 0. So I need to solve this equation, negative 0.1 x squared plus 80x minus 7,000 equals to 0. And you can use mod 5.3 to solve this equation easily. Or if you know how to use the quadratic formula, you can use the quadratic formula to get the x-intercepts. Or if you even know how to use factoring, because it can be factored. So x-intercepts, when you solve by the calculator, are 700 and 100. For the y-intercept, you put x equals to 0. So y-intercept would be p of 0, in fact. You put x 0, and you notice if you put x 0, this will be cancelled. The first term, the second term will be cancelled, and you will have negative 7,000. And that's the y-intercept, okay? This is the y-intercept. If he asks for graphing, it's easy to graph. You just need to choose a unit of measure, a nice unit of measure on the x-axis and on the y-axis, because you have hundreds. So you can go 100 by hundreds on the x-axis, by thousands on the y-axis, and sketch the graph. It would be like this, but you know the x-intercepts and the y-intercept and everything. Find the average rate of change for the function p from 200 to 400. P is the same function, so he is just talking again about the same function. So the average rate of change is the slope, and it is y2, which is p400, minus y1, which is p200, over x2 minus x1. So usually this is x1, this is x2. So, and you need to find y1 and y2. So you need to plug 400 in this equation. Okay, but already when h is 400, k is 9,000. So I know p 400, it is actually 9,000. But p 200, I don't have it. So replacing x by 200. So negative 0.1 times 200 square plus 80 times 200 minus 7,000. This will give you P200, which is 5,000 over 400 minus 200, that's 200. And now 9,000 minus 5,000 is just 4,000. When you divide by 200, you get 20. So that's the average rate of change. That's the last part of the exam. I hope you enjoyed listening to this video and practicing this major. See you next video, inshallah.